Gameplay Diary 2. The date is and the time is It's Seb again. So I was able to get back in contact with Lawrence. Dr. Z, on the other hand, was busy with the test. He told me that what I experienced was normal by the cartridge's standards, though he was curious about Fingerbones. According to the information he allowed me to backlog through, the game usually isn't keen on making alternate titles for itself. Usually it forms something analogous to the original game with the mention of Godzilla. As for that message at the beginning, it disturbed the both of us a little, because the message is actually a quote from a piece of Indian literature I had done a paper on as part of my undergraduate studies, the Bhagavad Gita. I think it was somewhere in chapter 11. The quote was famously mistranslated by Dwight D. Eisenhower in his speech regarding the nuclear attacks on Japan as, "I am become death, destroyer of worlds." I suppose there's relevance there because of Godzilla being a product of the bombs. Lauren suggested I reflect on its context in the game and be more abstract with my approach. It might be a bit of a stretch, but I think the Ghidorah I encountered was some kind of parasite that was taking over the galaxy. The planet Godzilla was staring at in the opening cutscene was also golden, so it could have been one that was completely taken over. From what we know about the worlds the cartridge can create, maybe this was the final stretch of the previous world coming to its end? It was grim, to say the least. I have a theory. The cartridge doesn't actually make personalized worlds, but more or less puts the player in the backseat of a world already going through its throes of evolution and decline. The relevance of Godzilla is down to the knowledge of the player, and to an extent the rest of the media the player may consume. The player has an element of control, because most of the time, the monsters the player can access are also Godzilla related, from what I was told at least. So I guess this is where I talk a little more about myself to speculate what the game may have in store for me. I'm a bit older, so I didn't get swept up in the appeal of video games, but I remember playing something called The Dungeon, which was an entirely text-based adventure I toiled with on my father's computer while he was at work. I could never get far, but I liked exploring. I also have a younger cousin I babysat often in the summers, and he'd always be playing the Atari. He loves slasher films, and of course, the Atari has a host of tie-in games. I don't think his parents allow him to see those movies, so it's the next best thing. Regardless of how his folks feel about it, he always ends up sneaking in a myriad of depraved monster movies from the Blockbuster whenever I'm watching him, and since this is confidential, I can admit we'd watch them together instead of All Dogs Go to Heaven or the other Disney films they had. I know a bit more about the creatures he indulges in than I'd like to admit, but at the end of the day, I'm glad he's passionate about something, and who am I to take that away from him? So that's the next thing about me. I'm easily bothered by violence. It's less like uncontrollable nausea, and more like I just cringe whenever I see it. And of course, in person, I avoid it at all costs. It's not as intense with video games, though, but there's a worm in the back of my mind that occasionally makes me feel guilty. Playing through Monster of Monsters has helped me a little bit. The violence is cartoonish. There are little explosions, like your enemies have nitroglycerin for blood, and the bosses unceremoniously sink into the ground. Most of your opponents are also machines, so it's not like anyone is actually dying. The way the glitch Ghidorah was killing Godzilla, though, was freakish. The heads were enveloping him like tentacles. There wasn't the usual fare for dying, either. Godzilla was roaring, a drawn-out death rattle that was slowed down and stretched out. It could have also been the sound of that thing rising up in the background. It was bit-crushed, but it still sounded organic in a strange way, like the wind. There wasn't any music for the game over screen either, something I wasn't paying attention to at the time. The implications of mission unsalvageable also gave me the impression that there were some serious stakes in that world. My failure may have doomed an entire artificial universe. Makes me think. I don't know the full extent of the awareness of the cartridge. That was one thing Lawrence wasn't telling me much about. I'm figuring it's just some kind of super advanced artificial intelligence that accesses your subconscious through radio waves. I've heard theories about it, though most of them have been peddled by pseudoscientists. Humans are basically sapient wetware, after all, so I've been keeping an open mind. All the worlds running back through the game are just projections of the AI rearranging data based on the disposition of its player. Like I said, I'm not a tech guy, I'm more of a theoretical tech guy. So weird stuff like this is where I feel I can get comfortable. So, I guess that's enough of an analysis I can get from 10 minutes of screwing around. Let's see if the game wised up on me. Oh, sick! I mean, no intro this time. I guess Fingerbones has solidified itself as my anomaly. No continue option either. Guess we'll get started for real this time. That really wasn't as bad as it sounded, but it caught me by surprise. I read the name, too. Sloughs of Pandemonium. Pandemonium is the capital of hell, according to John Milton. Paradise Lost was another book I analyzed in my undergrad, so I suppose books are the foundation for my connection to the cartridge. I read a lot of books, so I wonder what else it'll draw from. There's music, too, and I just realized that it's the same muffled tune I heard at the title screen, but with a little more clarity. It sounds like something from Eric Satie. It's slow, but it has this drop, if that makes any sense. The song feels like it's progressively delving deeper and getting lower, even though it's the same repetition of sounds. It's like satirical deadpan. Like one bad thing is going to happen after the other and we're just watching it. Alright, enough of that. Sorry. I see 3 monsters on the board, 2 of which are similar in appearance. The creature over the selection cursor must be mine. I don't think it's a Godzilla monster. I'm gonna try selecting it. I can't make out what that symbol is. No name for now. Let's try the others. I guess those are the bosses then. They have the same description and even the same health value. I wonder what makes them different. Abilities, probably. Guess I'll try interpreting the board icons. The blue icon to the right of no name looks like a collection of rubble with a pedestal. It may be 8-bit, but I know that's a basic plan for a Doric. I could also humor Nionic with how the edges of the top curl down. The northern oranges icon looks like a sunrise above a pyramid. The purple one below the closest bat demon, I haven't a clue. To me, it looks like a devil about to stage dive. That's some kind of mirror. Roman-styled Colosseum. The green icon is throwing me through a loop. Looks like the aliens from Space Invaders over a pool of radioactive waste. I only know Space Invaders because my cousin also played that a lot. It groaned at me. I moved my monster and it groaned at me like I had to roll out of bed to be here. It's even retching while it's moving across the board. Quite the visual improvement. I've just now realized how much more desaturated the color set is from the other version of the game I played. It's atmospheric. I like it. The music here has the same motif as the board, though it's a bit faster and has some different instruments. For one reason or another, it makes me feel like I'm trudging up Mount Everest alone. I also understand the dark motifs of all the icons now. That pyramid level is probably on the surface. Our guy over here is bowing down to a centipede? I don't see a name, but I see an inventory and 2 other stats I don't really understand. Managing an inventory is going to be interesting with a D-pad and 4 buttons. I'm going to fiddle around for a bit. So as of now, I can't really do anything, but my character turns left when I move back, and I can jump and crouch, which I think implies levels are going to be a lot more open down the line. B scrolls through your inventory, but only right to left. It also only allows me to scroll through the borders highlighted in white, assuming I unlock more inventory slots later. The game is clearly giving me something beyond the loop of stride right and smite with the strength of a god. I did find out you could select your inventory with A because I selected myself by accident, and this happened. Got anything else to say? Understandable. Let's move on. I'm going to assume that was an auto-generated thing, since I also selected his face beforehand. His disposition is kind of miserable, so I don't expect him to say anything reassuring. A deadly spawn! I don't think it sees me. Oh, I can hide? Okay, so select allows you to hide. Just in time, too. I think while I was mashing buttons it heard me. It's moving slowly and biting in my direction. Of course. Fine, whatever. A? Wow. Sorry, it's only 1 frame, but it looks gnarly. No hands. So B lets me come out. Alright, loot? That makes sense. Gotta get stuff from somewhere. You've gotta be kidding. Alright, let's see what could possibly help me here. Wow, that's disgusting. The carcass zone has a nice ring to it. Actually, that reminds me. When I was trying to hide earlier, I pressed something and another screen showed up. Give me 1 second. There we go. Interesting setup. Alright. As of now, I can only make this. Considering how the game is likely going to carry out from here, I'll need a few pebbles if I want to get around quickly. That blob thing doesn't seem to have any eyes, so I wonder if I can also use this to pull a fast one if I can't hide. Our guy's movement is very similar to Godzilla, or Mothra, I guess. I think he moves a little faster too. Hopefully this half pillar will give me cover. It does! Alright, the blob hasn't turned around yet. I think the PED meter just filled up a little. I have absolutely no idea what it does, but based on the layout of the bars, I'm assuming it works like the power and health meters from the original game. Is my name Worm? When it's full, do I get some kind of energy attack? Now that I have some more materials, I think I can make something worthwhile. Alright, we got a weapon. I don't know if it's single use or not, but I'll keep it ready. Alright, for some reason, I feel like going to another blue tile. The other levels are a little intimidating since I don't know if dying will actually end this game. I'll also have a fair idea of what to expect. The boss is also close by, and as you can see, it hasn't moved yet. Hopefully it stays where it is, because I don't know what I'd be able to do against it. Shit, damn it! I just noticed there was a pillar there. I was hoping I could have saved my spear for something else. I didn't like that I had to do that, but I need resources. Hey, my spear is still there. Nice. I used to like to pick it up just like I'd use it to hide or interact. I need 2 bones to make a spear. May as well make a pebble. Could I use this bone for something else? Interesting. This thing just showed up. It's not attacking me, I think. I don't want to risk resources to hit a tiny flying enemy. I also noticed the meat hand is numbered, which probably means it's going to be a single-use item. Ugh, I understand what the game wants me to do now. Sorry in advance. I'd like to ask what kind of sick fuck would put this in a children's game, but I feel like there's worse out there. Looks like our depraved little friend is going to have a harder time with this one. It's that bat again. Honestly, I don't care if it watches at this point. I'm going to do what I have to and ollie out of here. I might cycle back to another level to see if it repopulates with fodder. I feel like using the crusher added more to my meter, but I got half as much of the resources. I could always make another pebble, but I don't see a hiding spot around here, and I really don't feel like getting close to that bat. Though it just made a weird sound and now it's flying away. Guess it didn't want the smoke from a guy that makes weapons out of dead things for a living. Hunted? By what? Hold up, the music just changed. Fuck me, better move it! Take this! Shit, it didn't do anything. What the hell? Going through the store. Sweet respite. The music is going back to normal, but the enemy bar is still there. So I guess the boss is in this level with me. At least I'm assuming that's the bat demon. Let's think for a second. That smaller bat from earlier wasn't giving me any problems, but it followed me around between screens. I think that's the first enemy I've encountered that does that. Did it lead the boss to my space? Even if that were the case, what could I do to kill it? Forgive me, I've also been writing down the crafting recipes because the placement of the items are specific. Alright, let's get back into it. I think my spear broke because it disappeared after it connected. Messed up it didn't deal any damage. If the items I need to risk gathering resources for won't cut it, then what will? I guess my meter has something to do with it. But if I'm gonna fill it, I need to kill more. Really weird having that come out of my mouth, but you know what I mean.
Section X might go to the subject remaining quiet for a while. No significant interactions I heard.
Sorry for going radio silent. The rest of the level was similar to the first. Hid behind some pillars and nail some of those blobs for resources. I guess by dumb luck I managed to avoid encountering the demon a second time. I haven't even taken damage. Looks like I'm at the end, though. Huh, okay. I'm shaded like how I am when I'm in hiding, though I can move normally. Looks like a bunch of people surrounding a big centipede in a fire. Some kind of cult? Reminds me of those frescoes depicting Shawnee Bean and his family of cannibals I saw when I visited Scotland. There's also this solemn tune playing that makes me feel like I'm walking through an empty art museum at night. Not that I've actually had an experience like that yet. Just one screen. Damn it, I knew it! The bastard moved up to me and now he's blocking my route back! My PED meter is almost full, however. Another thing I can be thankful for is that I'm not dragged into fighting the boss directly like in the original game, where if you were right next to it, you couldn't move away. Feels like an obvious statement, but this game is making combat seem like a last resort. Let's see about the next icon. This place has this guttural hum in the background. It's almost like digitized throat singing. It's eerie. So, I am a cultist. Looks like there are a lot of others like me here too. I hate both of those options. A lot. Kiss had the same color as my peed meter. Maybe it'll have something to do with it? I'll be honest, I feel worse about killing something that just talked to me, even if it's consenting. Ugh, it increased my meter, but it didn't give me anything. I was so close to filling it too, though I'd prefer she lives. I guess I'll at least be able to stock up at another pillar level. I'll try to avoid any bats I see. Really not off to a good start. There are more enemies and no signs of cover. Backtracking is going to be harder. Damn it, another bat showed up. No way, not letting that happen again. I can't move while using the hand, but I'll risk the damage. Grab the bastard! I think it's safe to guess spears can only be used twice before they break. I'll try to conserve them for situations like this. The hand is an auto-kill when used on bats, which is really nifty, and the blobs are ignoring me and eating the body. Bummer I can't harvest it, but with my spear I'll probably be able to fill my meter. My meter is full, and from what it looks like, start is the magic button. A pillar! Yes! I have a lot of flesh wads. I feel like there's something we could be getting out of them. This here is exactly what I need. The blobs don't attack very fast, so I'm going to save the sausages for when I really need them. Probably for the demon. Glad I'm finally out of here. I guess we're going to have another exhibition. Weird. Ironically, I used to draw stuff like this as a kid all the time. My father served in the military and he always had his buddies coming around to have dinner with us. Some of their stories were a little too loud. And I like to speculate that I internalized the violent parts as art. Didn't have a mom around that could tell them off then. I remember pursuing a project in my undergrad studying the artwork of children, specifically while they're drawn to violent imagery. As you already know my stance on the subject, I won't pursue it any further. The music is fittingly childish, like I'm in a playroom and someone just put a song on that's trying to make me feel more relaxed, but it's kind of getting under my skin in a way that I can't parse. If I hadn't seen Godzilla or the layout of the old game, I don't think I would have made the connection. Fingerbones feels like its own franchise, and I'd be hard-pressed to admit that I wasn't having fun with it. Because I don't know a lot about video games, I don't know how complex they can be with the technology we have access to today. I've heard about the cartridge being some kind of supernatural entity, but right now everything feels grounded. There are rules and mechanics that have been established, and I'm not seeing any stark perversions of that aside from the art shows. I'm assuming they're randomized because I only just now started encountering them in the same level types. Call me lazy, but I think I can exploit the bats showing up in later levels to pull the boss right to me since my meter is full. I think I can only move 2 spaces at a time anyhow. Another opening message, okay. No enemies and no music except for a low drone. Almost like a bell being rung in slow motion. I can't stop staring at the man in the mirror. Sorry, I'm a bit jumpy from the previous level. I don't think I've experienced this kind of excitement while playing a game. Guess this is how my cousin feels. Oh, look at that. My guy is looking at his reflection. Screen keeps going. The level's long for there to be nothing to do. Is my reflection changing? This monitor is so damn tiny. Some kind of puzzle I'm missing? She keeps laughing at me. The ringing is getting louder. No! Oh no, fuck me! You've gotta be fucking me. My meter is emptied. I have everything in my inventory, though. God damn it, I really don't want to play through everything again. I guess I get what I deserve for being cocky. We're a touch more crowded than last time. Dinner's ready, shitheads. I may be jumping over them, but they don't seem to damage me if I touch them while they're eating. I was just about to commemorate how easy the recovery has been, but now we have a new bastard to deal with. Looks like some kind of skeleton. He's a lot smarter than the others because he's throwing globs at me while jumping back and forth. Not getting any closer either. I'm really missing my pebbles right now. You got a bone to pick? Never thought I'd say this, but I'm kind of pleased the skeletons have green guts. Even the layout of their carcass zone is green. The skeletons exclusively drop bones too, which makes sense, and it's also a huge help because the blobs usually drop fleshier components more often. Oh god, look who decided to show up. If I had space for a hand, I'd push his shit in. Get back here! Well, I learned that if your spear doesn't hit a target, it flies off the screen and vanishes. Just great. Showed up almost as quickly as last time. This definitely wasn't the first level's layout. Shit, he's fast. Much faster. He wants me. Who's this? It's about damn time. I get it now. It's that dumb fucking faceplate. I can't use any items. I don't think I'll need them, though. I just noticed that my meter is slowly going down. I need to finish this quickly. Get fucked! Just a little more! That was intense. It's dead. My guy is back to normal, and he doesn't seem to be having a good time either. I can't control him. He's just pacing back and forth. Alright, he's done moping. Took care of the blobs. Can I get my spear back? Oh. That spear only has one use left on it anyhow. I'll take the centipede and make a new spear later. Let's see what the big guy has. Damn, a rune? Does this have to do with my meter? I can only carry 5 of the same item at a time, I think. I'll just top myself off and grab the last sausage after. Down B ain't doing anything, so it's probably for my transformation. I've had enough of this place. I'm gonna sit down for a minute because there's a lot I have to unpack. That guy I killed in the room right before I transformed. The way he screamed. It wasn't realistic sounding, but the actual sound was familiar, if that makes any sense. Imagine, like, if there was a jingle from a radio show you knew, and you recognized it even though it was being played by a guy with a saxophone on the street. I've heard that scream before. It was a real scream, but I forgot where I heard it. If I weren't about to get into a fight, I think I would have reminisced on it more, because now it's escaping me. Something about it made me deeply uncomfortable. The mirror level. I remember there was this game my mom and I played when I was a kid. She told me she could bring a witch into the house, so we'd turn off the lights in the bathroom, close the door, and each light a candle. She'd blow out hers first, then mine, then she'd grab my shoulder suddenly to scare me. I think she did this with me so I wouldn't be afraid of the dark, and I think it worked because I'd usually end up laughing by the time it was over. Our faces always looked weirder in the dark, and she told me that it was the witch trying to get through. I don't mean to get preachy, but I feel like I kind of lost sight of my morals while playing this game. And I think that's what the cartridge is trying to make me feel. Freak me out by putting me in situations where I need to kill things in violent ways for my own gain to serve some kind of old god. I wonder if mentioning I didn't like violence at the title screen had anything to do with Fingerbones' gameplay developing. I'm not going to quit or anything. That'd be stupid. I don't care about answers either. I'm just here to do a job and talk at you. Ugh, I think I have a migraine coming along. I need a drink. I'll be back in a minute. I'm back, and I just noticed the window was open a little. Kinda surprised I didn't feel a draft earlier because it's cold out here at this hour. Anyway, let's check out that pyramid level. Well, I guess I was right about this place being close to the surface. The music is this strangely soothing melody. I feel like I could sleep to it. No signs of hostility, but I'm keeping my spear ready. Whoa. Look at how the lighting on my guy changed. Looks a bit like the Colosseum icon across the map. Is this intended to be a view? It's honestly pretty. No traps, no giant blue gargoyles, and there's even a pillar where I can craft behind. No way I could have known this level was going to be like this, but I'm glad it exists. Oh boy, am I ready for something upsetting. Its eyes follow me when I move. Freaked me out because I thought it was going to maul me, but no other part of it is moving. I didn't realize there was music at first, but there's this slow, warbling bellow that goes back and forth, like as if the source of the sound was on a platform being waved closer and further from my ears. It's very discomforting. I guess I can say I was bit by a dog once when I was little. My mom didn't get pissy with the owner when it happened, though, and there wasn't any blood. It was completely my fault, and it became a lesson day. We made up, and she took me out for ice cream. I'm glad that experience didn't make me afraid of dogs. I don't think this was supposed to be a dog, though. Gonna skip the first screen level because I'll be doing one later down the line. Plus, with the rate the gameplay is scaling, I think I'll be able to fill my meter before I deal with the next boss. I kinda have to plan this out since my meter goes down quickly. That damn mirror. I feel like I missed something when I was going in initially. You know what? I'm actually gonna stop the recording here and go through the footage up until this point to see if I missed anything in that level. I'll be back in post real soon.
Something was recording at connected for an intermittent amount of time before returning.
Alright. I found something else. I realized that when I went for a drink earlier, I didn't pause the recording. I gotta make a phone call. I'm gonna end things here for tonight.
It's the